Boom, coming in hot, Chichi. How we doing, brother, on Hump Day?
Hump Day. Yeah, dude, we already established what we're talking about today because there's so much good action going on.
I know, dude. I love it. Love it.
Dude, your boy McAfee, man, what a show he puts on, dude. He's got that whole team of guys. He obviously has Rodgers once a week all year. Rodgers went into the hole for a week in the end of February. And he did this whole countdown clock this morning. The Aaron Rodgers day on a Pat McAfee show. So he came on at 1. He came, and so they did an hour just talking about what Rodgers is going to say. Did you see it, or did you not see it?
No. Then they brought Rodgers on.
Brought Rodgers on. He kind of played. He's such a soft-spoken dude on those things, you know. So everybody's just sitting there with like bated breath, trying to figure out what he's going to say. And finally, he eventually says, "I am not retiring. I want to play for the New York Jets." And it was like,
that's awesome. And they went nuts.
Oh yeah, McAfee and them all went nuts. But there's other stuff going on with that. I forgot to turn this light off. Sorry, guys. Yeah, turn that light. So a couple things that happened when he went into the cave. He thought that the Packers said, "Take your time. When you come out, let us know what you want to do." But then when he was in the cave, the Packers guys were like, basically kind of just said, "We got to move on from him." And so he came out of the cave a little pissed off, and now he just finally announced, "I want to be a Jet." And New York is going bananas right now, and so is New Jersey.
Oh my gosh, dude! Well, dude, didn't the Jets have the Offensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
I mean, they got some studs, dude. Rodgers is the guy the Jets need.
There's
you know
no
what I mean?
question.
Like they need a veteran. A guy was the MVP 2 years ago. This guy's a stud. And for a guy like Rodgers, bro, it's going to give him a new change of scenery, something to prove again, purpose to play. All of a sudden, you're in New York. You know what I mean? It gives you a reason. This guy's still in his prime, man. He's still one of the best in the game. Like, he's the leader they're looking for. They're such a young team. You know, Salah does a great job with that defense. And just they must be so fired up that Rodgers wants to come to New York, and they opened up some salary cap too, didn't they? Recently, they opened up some space to be able to sign Rodgers. So if that gets done, bro, that's a game changer. The Jets are now big time players.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden everybody's talking about, oh, do you go get Beckham, add another weapon on offense? Do you go get another one of these guys? They just signed this boy. I forgot his name. The wide receiver is one of his best friends, but. There's like a whole wish list of things, and now if you're a free agent, there's a lot of free agents out there. You want to go to the Jets. Now it's like, they have a great defense, and they're going to have Aaron Rodgers. None of this is official, by the way. The weird thing is that the Packers still have to make the deal. Like, the Packers need compensation back. He's still Aaron Rodgers, and they still, I don't want to say own the rights to him, but they still have the rights to him as a player. So it's not like he's coming out of retirement. So that's what makes this tricky. And it makes it really weird that he said this out loud. I don't know, like, I was on with some of the 33rd guys today, and we were trying to figure out, like, did he just give the Jets all of the leverage so that they can keep more players in the trade? And on a flip side, the Packers, they still have the rights to them. They can just say, nah. But being such a historic figure in Green Bay, you really don't want to end this too bad, right? If you're the Packers.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because Favre's tenure ended bad in with the Packers too. You know, he ended up going to Minnesota and the Jets, you know, whatever. But, you know, I think when you look at this whole thing, I mean, gosh, Rodgers has solidified himself as a Hall of Fame quarterback, no doubt about it. With the legacy, he won a championship with the Packers and some MVPs. You don't want it to end bad, and I think his legacy is already done. You know what I mean? He's already solidified being a legendary Packer. He'll always be that way. But at the end of the day, it's like Joe Montana. When Joe Montana left the Niners and went with the Chiefs, hey, the Chiefs were winning. They went to playoff games. They did well. You know, Montana was still legit. Like, look at Brady. Brady leaves the Patriots. He goes to Tampa, wins a Super Bowl. Like, that's what I think when I see Rodgers here going to the Jets. You know, I feel like, you know, there was definitely some contentious moments these last couple of years with the management of the Packers and what Rodgers' role was at times. So I think him going to New York, is it ending with the Packers not great? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to hurt his legacy. Like, just like Favre, man. You know, I think Favre's legacy with the Packers, now that the smoke is cleared, is is still good too.
Yeah. Can you go back to that one thing about being rejuvenated? Like, and I would use a comp like you get to Detroit and all of a sudden you're on a title contender. Like, and you hit like a maniac that year.
Well, listen, I was in Cincinnati where we were struggling at the end. I got traded to the Pirates where we were the worst team in baseball. Then I get traded to the Tigers, and I'm like, holy Moses, like your power, your power takes over, and you're just so excited to be there, so excited to be in contention, so excited to be on a contender, knowing that you still got good skills and you're ready to make an impact. And like I said, man, that change of scenery of a winning culture where, hey, listen, we went to get you because we know we're going to win now. We want you to bring your skills and put us over the top. Man, I've been there, and obviously I don't think I was a piece of that puzzle, but towards the end it was a big piece. And like I said, for Rodgers, man, for Jets fans, Rodgers, I mean, these guys got to be fired up that if Rodgers ends up a Jet.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
and Joe Namath has already said if he comes to the Jets, he would let Rodgers wear number 12. Rodgers is number 12 his whole career. I don't know if you can. I don't know about that.
Ooh,
do you take it? Do you take it?
No, I don't, dude. It's Joe Namath. You just gotta say, all right, I'll be something now. I can't imagine Rodgers wearing 12 in New York. That would be a little. Keep the humble pie. Wear another number. It's a new scenery. Like I said, like when I went to the Pirates, they didn't think enough of me to get the ghost of Roberto Clemente to say, "Hey, bro, we're so glad you're from Pittsburgh. Here's 21." No, I think. What do you think, dude? What do you think, Chichi? Would you want to wear 12 if you're Rodgers?
No, because I think it puts an added. He's already going to New York. Pressure, boom.
Right.
And you're going to add the pressure. You're going to take, arguably, top 5 most famous athletes in the century in New York, and you're going to throw his jersey on? What if you go 0-2 in the first? People are going to be burning Aaron Rodgers, Joe Namath jerseys, and people are going to be calling for him to take the jersey off. Like, I don't think I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. There were a few years for the Yankees where Paul O'Neill's number wasn't retired, and I remember nobody was going to wear that number in New York, and he's not even a Hall of Famer. Like, it's just and you didn't you say that a couple teams you're on you didn't want to? You didn't when you were in college. You didn't want to try to ask an older guy for a number.
Well, also too, when I went to the Reds, I wanted number 20, but that was Frank Robinson. So obviously, I was a total bum at that point. I was like, they're like, who's this guy? Guy has 2 hits in the big leagues from the Indians. They're not going to give him Frank Robinson's number. It's like only one of the greatest players ever. So Frank Robinson blocked me in Cincy. Clemente blocked me in Pittsburgh, and Lloyd McClendon tried to block me in Detroit. But I said, Lloyd, listen, you're not Clemente, and you're not Frank Robinson. I need 21. Okay?
Is that a fact? That's great.
It's a fact.
I love that.
I gave him some golf clubs and some balls. I said, I'm where I told you I wore number 12 for the first game in Detroit. I'd like to get that jersey back, dude. I gotta call and see if I can get number 12 because I did wear it in the big leagues. It's the one jersey I don't have. So
I'm sure you have pretty good pull with that organization.
Yeah, I gotta make a call.
You should get that. That's a good idea. Oh man. All right. What else? Oh, by the way, I forgot that when you just said the word jersey, I got to send you our winners. I forgot to send you the address for the winner of our.
Send me that address. Yeah,
please. You'll be getting it shortly. Sorry, I totally forgot about it. All right, let's get back over to baseball. A lot going on. WBC Cuba nail biting win today. It wasn't, they won 4-3, but they advanced past Australia. That would have been a huge story. But since they won, it's not a big story. Big story we've been talking about. You and I have been talking about this for like a week off the record, but is Anthony Volpe going to be a professional New York Yankee? Will he break camp with his team? Because he's doing really well, dude. And he's one of their top prospects.
I feel like he's their top prospect. I feel like he is, man. He's 21 years old. And like you were saying before, Chinch, like he's been in pro ball. He's out of high school. He's been in pro ball, a few years now. This isn't like this guy didn't just come out of college and, just getting his feet wet. This guy knows the deal. He's been in pro ball. He had another good year last year, two really good years. He's having a great spring this spring. He's hitting big league pitching, some good big league pitching. He can pick it over there at short. The guy's a baseball rat, dude. He loves the game. I get a chance to coach him at the Under Armour All-American game a few years ago when he was a senior, and I was like, who's that kid at short? Like, just a gamer of a player. And Aaron Boone's loving him, and I love the fact that he's kind of fitting in. He's also a New Yorker. He's loved the Yankees growing up. I think it's time, man. It's time. They're calling up guys earlier and earlier nowadays. I think Anthony Volpe's ready to break camp with the Yankees. And I think it just would be a great story. He's having a great spring, and you love seeing guys like this maybe make the team,
Yeah. How about this? This is a great story. Al Leiter told me this. So, Jack and Anthony played at Del Barton High School together in New Jersey, which if you think about having two first-round draft picks like that, unbelievable. I went out and did that piece with Alan and them. First of all, Volpe and Jack, but we're talking specific Volpe. Oh my God, one of the more down-to-earth human beings I've ever met in my life. At the time I talked to him, he was like 19 or 20, and he's a New York Yankee. And if you realize, a couple years ago, they were mentioning his name in Mike Trout trades. Like, that's how highly regarded this kid is as a human in addition to his skill set. Because, he, like you said, he is a rat, like a gym rat. But super quick, crazy story. When Leiter was pitching for the Mets, he had this place on the Upper East Side by the Central Park, of course, because Leiter's a gazillionaire. And he said during the day, his wife used to go and let Jack go play in Central Park, and Jack meets his boy in Central Park, and the two started playing together, and they started playing, having catches together, whatever. It was Jack Leiter and Anthony Volpe at like 6 or 7 years old. What? They've actually been friends that long, and it was actually kind of like the Leiters that kind of helped, get Anthony focus coach going towards Del Barton, because first of all, it's a great baseball program and things like that. Great school,
right?
And so Anthony Volpe and Jack Leiter, 6 years old, were running around Central Park, and now they are two of the most talked about prospects in baseball.
Isn't that incredible, man? And you did a story on them, Chinch, right?
Yeah,
a couple years ago at Del Barton.
It's on the Del Barton website, I think, still.
Yeah, that's so cool. Dude, I got a connection to Volpe too. Not only was that I coached him in the Under Armour All-American game, my Uncle Mike, my mom's brother, I believe, now Uncle Mike, I don't know if you listen to this podcast or not, but I might mess up this story, is that I believe Volpe's dad is a dentist or a doctor. And I believe that my Uncle Mike either goes to him as a dentist or he's his doctor, one of the two.
Wow, that makes sense. By the way, Del Barton's not the cheapest school in the world to go to. I looked at that. I think you hit it pretty.
That could be a true story.
I think you hit that nail on the head. So here's another true story, dude. Speaking of the Yankees, this blew my mind. I'm forgetting her name, but great writer for Sports Illustrated found out today or yesterday that the Yankees players have to pay for their own Wi-Fi on their flights. Like, I don't even know. And the funniest part about it is, like, I guess all the players like yell at like Garrett Cole, and you're like, you're the reason I got to put my credit card into this thing, get your $50 million. I got to pay for Wi-Fi on a Yankee flight. First of all, what are your thoughts on this story?
Oh my God. I think it's incredible. I love that they're burying Garrett Cole too, because that's so funny. Like, that's nothing better than getting the guy that makes the most money and telling him, hey dude, you know what? It should be Aaron Judge this year. The reason we got the Wi-Fi is Aaron Judge is $360 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I got so many thoughts on flights and burying guys and stuff like that. So many stories. First off, my one flight story is I get to the traded to the Reds, bro, and I don't really know much. I just know that I just came from Cleveland. I'm so excited to be in Cincinnati, and so dude, when I first got to Cincinnati, you're not gonna believe this. When I first got to Cincinnati, the first flight I ever got on for the big leagues with the Reds, commercial.
I still can't believe that.
Commercial, like walk on the flight. And I was like just excited to be in the big leagues. I had no idea you flew private, because with the Reds, I'm like, hey, I want to sit next to. So like literally, like you would get a seat. I remember asking a lady to move over. I was like, can you? She's like, oh honey, are you guys a ball club? I go, yeah, we're this. Not only we're a ball club, man, we're the Cincinnati in the big leagues.
That's unbelievable.
I was like, can you move over? I'm in 32B.
Yeah, and you guys are all huge human beings.
Huge
it's
monsters,
horrible getting on a commercial flight for you anyway.
Oh, my God. Incredible. So that was the first thing. That's the first flying commercial with the Reds. I think that stopped when Greg Vaughn came. Greg Vaughn was like, listen, I need goatees and no more freaking commercial flights. This is the big leagues. We need to clean it up,
Oh my
That's
God.
the first thing. Second thing is, Dude, the flights were incredible. I remember, like, I still love the Rush song, Tom Sawyer, because whenever we would take off, right when we were about to take off, Kent Merker band would hit the radio and they said, no, and we would be flying, for rent. You know, and we're taking off, and I'm like, oh, there we go, babe, big league flight. Merker would get the, you know, and then in 1999, bro, Denny Nagel. Every time we would take off on a flight, Nagel would jump up in the middle and pretend he was Eddie the Eagle. Oh, like, as we were taking off, and it was like, this is incredible. Only in the big leagues. And what's so funny too, Chinch, I always get a kick out of, like, you know, when you're on flights and everyone's like, okay, please put your phones in airplane mode, turn your laptops off, you know, all this stuff. It messes with the radar and all that. Guess what, buddy? If you see a big league flight right now, there's 85 laptops out.
Yeah, there's like a PlayStation plugged in somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Not one person is in a seatbelt. There's so many electronics going, and I every time they do that on a flight, I'm like, this is such BS, because I've flown my whole life where you know, we're taking off and everybody's laptops out, everybody's phones out, the radio's on, no one's in a seatbelt. Denny Nagel's Eddie the Eagle flying, you know, in the middle of the thing. It's crazy, man.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Although one time we did have it was not a crash landing, but a hard landing in I think it was, hi Carly. It was like a hard landing in like Chicago or something. And the
bags.
Masks, oh dude, they all came hitting, and they I remember Harness just like boom, wearing one in the head, like he was like down for the mask was like wrapped around his head. It was incredible. So the flights in the big leagues are the best, dude. They get the music in the back. You know, everybody's hanging out. I don't know how they do it now, but that's how we used to do it back in the day.
That's
the
so
flights
good.
were like a big party to get together, and whenever they say, people say, what do you miss? I mean, guys miss the flights, and you know, traveling with each other.
They call it a happy flight, right? When you get a big win, you get a happy flight on your way home.
Yeah, exactly.
You love,
happy flight. Nothing
you
like
got
a
a
West Coast flight.
Win on a getaway day or something like that. Everybody
Dude,
pounding.
It was the best. It was the best.
A lot of drinking on those flights.
I think back in the day there were, but we were talking to CC early on. He said nobody drinks anymore in the big leagues. You know what I mean? Guys are just,
they're too healthy.
You know, like I said to David Dahl the one time, I said, hey, do you guys still have some beers in the flights? Like, dude, nobody does that anymore. He's like, I felt like a dinosaur. He's like, nobody does that. He's like, you know, we got to make sure we're not pulling hamstrings, getting dehydrated. And it's like, hey, there's a lot of money to be made. Nothing worse if you pull a hammy and you have a hammy all year long. You're costing yourself millions over a couple Miller Lights, you know?
Yeah, that's not worth it. That's definitely not worth it.
Worth it.
Save that for vacation time.
Yeah.
Off season. Wow. All right. Let's see. Flights. Oh, I have one flight story that's pretty crazy. Coming from back in the day at ESPN, we were going, I think it was the World Series, Marlins. It was whatever. From Connecticut, they used to make us take like these double puddle jumper flights. So we would go from Connecticut, then land in, like, I think you always land in Atlanta before you get to Florida.
Right.
We get on the Atlanta portion of this. Here's who's on it. I'm on it. Chris Rohenbeck is on this flight. Mark Deaver was on this flight. I think Peter Gammons might have been on this flight, which is shocking. But we're sitting there, and we go to take off. And this is back in, like, 2003, so you're talking Razor phones. Remember the Razor phones?
Oh, yeah.
We're sitting there, and right before we turned it off, we took off. We got about 15 feet off the ground, and then you just heard, all the power goes out on the plane.
Oh, my God.
And the guy went up,
serious?
straightened it, and came back down. And we all just sat there, like, terrified. They take us off the plane. They were going to try to fix something. It was a computer malfunction. Thank God it happened 15 feet in the air, not 50,000 feet in the air.
Oh, my God,
dude. And so we're sitting there, like, kind of like shaky. Now we're waiting another hour for a flight. And I'm sitting next to Rohenbeck, and I'm like, this is why what you brought up made me laugh. I'm like, I think that might have been my fault. And he goes, why? And I go, I didn't turn my phone off. And he goes, neither did I.
Serious? Were you serious?
Yeah, he goes, neither did I. And I'm like, that's where what you said. I'm like, damn, maybe it was back in the day. Maybe it would trigger it. I almost crashed a plane by myself.
I don't think your phone's that powerful, Chinch.
No, but But by the way, this plane we're on, I'll never forget this too. This is the last point. When I get on a flight, I close the freaking blind. I just close it. I close the one in front of me. I don't even care if the person sees my hand go in there, and I close the one behind me, and I just try to knock out. I get on this flight, and it's so small. I knocked it. I think there was only one seat on each side. That's how small this plane was. Right. Not even like 2 more. I close the thing, and a minute later, the flight attendant, this nice Southern woman, comes up to me. She goes, "Excuse me, sir, you can't do that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "We all on this type of flight consider we're all working on a flight, so we need you to leave that open in case you see some sort of fire or some sort of flames on a wing." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Who says this?" And it was the exact same.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. What am I gonna do? Jump out there? Break it open, pour my water on it? Like, fuck. Pardon my language. Anyway, same flight. Terrifying.
Do you get scared of turbulence?
Yes. If it gets like really rough, yeah, a little bit.
Dude,
do you?
I don't. Well, if it gets really rough, I do get a little uneasy, but I've taken so many flights. But Alex Battaglia, who's my buddy who works for JetBlue, he runs all the flights, and he said, "Look at turbulence as a pothole in the road. That's all it is."
Interesting.
And that made my mind. Oh, yeah, it's a pothole. Pothole in the air. You know, you get hit. You just hit a pothole. You know what I mean? Like, and you might hit about 40 of them in a row sometimes in bad weather, but you know, you're safe. You're still safe. You know?
Yeah, I don't really like the shakiness of it. Usually, though, I try to pass out on a flight or fall asleep, and so I'll wake up going. And then you wake up and I'm like, oh man, I've been drooling on a guy sitting next to me for like 10
minutes. The lady. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we've made it through our flights. Hopefully we have happy flights. What else you got going on this week? I mean, big stuff. Any more heroic stuff? Any of that stuff?
No, nothing much going on this week, man. Just
that's good, man.
Andrew's home for spring break, which is good. You know, kids are home and just family stuff, dude. That's it this week.
That's what it's all about, man. Family first.
That's what it's all about.
That's what we say on the mayor's office.
Yeah, that's right, brother. All right, man.
Congratulations, Judge fans. Almost.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Let's go. Almost. That's not done until it's done, but let's congrats of almost.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna go.
Brother.
I'm gonna go shave. I'm starting to get gray on my beard.
Yeah,
dude,
go do your thing, dude. All right.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, Chingy, love you. Have a great day. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.